Hello, CQDX. Hello, radio. We got a SureCom here. This is the SR-112. This is not a review. This is more like a fix-it video because of the screwed up engineering that somebody did. Probably on some of these, not all of them maybe, but mine was screwed up. It doesn't like to hear any DTMF tones. So I'm going to see. I did a little research. I had to dig into it, see what's going on. And, oh, it's got a yellow RJ45. I added that in. I'm going to use, later on, I'm going to make some connections to that. I'll take the cover off of here. And what I'm going to do later on, I'm going to take some connections off of this jack here. See a little focus here. Take some connections off this jack, and I'm going to wire them over to this connector so I can make up my own cables. I don't have to buy somebody else's cables. So anyhow, problem with this thing, everything was working except the remote DTMF control. Didn't do any of that at all. It just totally ignored any DTMF. So I dug in this to do a little research and found out what was going on. There's a chip in here. It's the decoder, the DTMF decoder chip is right over here. That is the number on that chip is let's see, HT9170, HT917D, HT9170D. It's Holtec. That's the decoder chip. That's the DTMF decoder right in here. It's a 18-pin chip, 9 pins on the side. And I did a little checking around with the oscilloscope, and I looked at the audio. I think the ground is the first band. I think the audio coming in was the second one up here. And audio looked fine over there. Getting over to pin 2 on this DTMF chip, there's practically nothing at all there. I looked up the data sheet. You can look up the data sheet on that. HT9170D. Audio comes in on pin 2, and there's practically nothing at all in audio. And the reason there isn't, or very little or next to none, they put so much attenuation with capacitors and resistor dividers and everything, a string of crap in there. There's no audio left. So what I did, I took a couple points here, between 2 points, and put a capacitor, 0.1 microfarad capacitor, non-polarized. I'm going to get it. This is temporary. This is a little bit bigger than what I want. I'm going to find a smaller cap than this one and put in there. But I put a connection. I don't know if I can get close enough here to see, or you can see, I can zoom in here maybe. Let's see. There's 2 surface mount resistors, R5 and R6, that are right about in here. And the bottom of those are tied together. I put one side of the capacitor on that. The other side of the capacitor hooks to the left side. I don't know if you can see it there, R1. Left side of R1. And that's the other connection. And let's see if I can get a pointer on there on that. Left side of R1, it's over here on the left side of that cap. It goes down to R1. And after putting that cap in, everything works just fine. It sees all the DTMF. Every time it works reliably. So no tone. The tones weren't getting to this chip. Now they may not. All these units may not be this way. Mine was screwed up. Maybe some of them were, some of them weren't. Maybe there's different revisions they did on here. I don't know. But that's the fix that I did. Other than that, everything seems to work good. It repeats the audio. It stores it. You can use the message 1 for your identifier, whatever you want to put in there. 2 and 3 can you use for mailboxes. I think when you set this automatic timer, it only applies to mailbox for the 1 on there. I don't think it does it on 2 and 3. But wide 5 volts to 24 volts, 3.7 lithium-ion battery. And I got a little sheet of paper with some of the chips that are in there. It's got a DC to DC buck converter over there, and it's got a serial flash memory over there. and a rail-to-rail 10 megahertz op amp over here, crystal at 12.288 megahertz, and then you get the little micro in here, STM 326030. That's the little micro that's in there. I think there's 12 pins on each side of it. Then there's the audio. That's just the audio storage and conversion, A to D or D to A on the audio on this chip there. And then this is the tone decoder, the Holtec 9170D chip. Uses a color burst crystal, 3.579 545. And then you look up the data sheet on that chip. It looks something like this. It's just this came out of the data sheet. That's just a typical connection, and they may not have done that in this SR-112, but who knows what they did on that. But all these components on the input on pin 2, they probably put something different in there. You got a cap and there's a 100K resistor, but they put a lot of other resistors and dividers before it goes to the jack there. And it's just practically no tone getting to the chip. That's why it couldn't do anything. It was ignoring it. There's nothing getting there to pin 2. So that's it. You want to fix that, at least on mine. Take the add a capacitor, get a small one to fit down in there, and put it between the 2 points there. I don't know if I wish I had a magnifier. Sometimes I can stick a magnifier sometimes on this phone here and kick up the magnification a little bit, maybe. Let's see what this does here. Oh, this is kind of tricky doing it this way. Ooh. Yeah, anyhow, there is the points that I made connection at. Are, you see there by the jack, are 5 and 6 at the bottom, and the left side of one side of R1 over there. So anyhow, and later on I'm going to make some connections to from this jack. There's 4 ground and PTT audio in and out. I'm going to bring those over to this, and then that way I can make up my own cables and just use a regular, like a network cable, cut off one end and tie the other, tie it to whatever radio connector you want to put it on. And so it works fine after that little addition of the capacitor. Then we got to see who might remember this thing here. This is a Radio Shack, probably back in the 80s and 90s. Simplex repeater. It sold, I think, back in $99. I think that's the original sticker. I paid $1.50 for it at the Hamfest. It works fine. It only stores up to 30 seconds. And there's no remote DTMF on this. It's just you plug it in, and the cable that comes with it will go into an ICOM, some of the older ICOMs, and I think Yaesu and maybe some others. But that's Radio Shack Simplex repeater controller. And here's the model number, 19-345, Radio Shack. $1.50, can't beat that. So that's about it on here. If you want to try that, like I said, these probably vary on what the problems they have. And you can always try to reset the default. You hold in the power button in there for a few seconds and you can restore whatever the defaults are set at. But, and then if you don't have any response to the DTMF, try putting a capacitor in there. 0.1 microfarad cap between the bottom of the R5 and 6 and the left side of R1. That's it.